what we call the ecosystem that provides services on top of us. For example, another common request is, I want to run my application, but I don't want to manage the machine itself. And so people say, can you provide platform as a service, not infrastructure as a service? And we tell them, we don't do this, but by the way, there are many companies that use our infrastructure to give you the platform. For example, you want to run Ruby on Rails without managing the server itself, just run the code. You can use Heroku, you can use Morph, and many other, EngineYard, and many other companies. And the same thing goes for other platforms, other programming languages, or other services. So this is very common to see the ecosystem of companies around Amazon provide services where we don't do that.
And is it true that I should be technically good to directly manage the Amazon Web Services?
I didn't get the first one. Who?
Actually, is it true that I should be technically strong enough?
Is it true that?
Yeah, is it true that I should be technically,
I should be okay, yeah.
Technically strong enough to manage the cloud computing through AWS?
Okay, it depends, and let me explain you why it depends. The basic service that Amazon provides, for example, Amazon EC2 or Amazon S3, storage, computing, and other things, they are basically building blocks, infrastructure building blocks that you can use together to create your own infrastructure. You still need to manage the machine. If you want to run your Linux or Windows environment, you have to manage that machine. You have to patch that machine. But in other cases, for example, let's say you want to run a database, and you don't need to manage the database, you just want to use it. You can actually use Amazon RDS. The database is managed by us, and we provide you the access to this machine, not as a root user or as an administrator user, but rather as a database super user. So you can create databases, you can do dumps, you can restore databases, you can do queries, etc. But you don't need to manage the machine. So, and that is more at the platform as a service level. If you say, I need something, but I don't want to manage the machine, there are companies that provide you management services for you. So it actually depends on what you want to do on this cloud. Any other question? Yeah, wait, first let's ask this lady first, and then the gentleman in the back. Hello.
From Indian Games.
Hello.
Yeah.
I mentioned it before.
Yeah. We are actually using your LAMP server for most of our Facebook applications. So security-wise, reliability-wise, I would say it's pretty good. And cost-wise, I would say S3 is really good. But few problems are found with Amazon. One is the performance issue. When I run Facebook applications using AWS, it's pretty slow.
Okay, you mean for specific customers in India or?
I'm uploading the code in India. My customers are worldwide. But being a developer, even when I test my application, it's pretty slow.
But it's slow from India to Singapore?
Both.
No, there was just one thing. So it's slow when you test it from India?
Even when I access it from outside India, so it takes the same problem.
Okay, so slow is just the connection, or is the server performance?
Server performance.
Server performance.
I would say it's inconsistent.
Inconsistent.
Yeah, sometimes it goes pretty good.
Okay, so let me explain you why you might experience this and what is the solution to that. So basically, EC2 servers are virtual servers. And we have an hypervisor that provides us physical servers that reside on physical machines. The RAM, the memory that you use, and the CPU power is dedicated. But what happens is that when you are in a multi-tenant environment, it might be that the performance basically goes a little bit up and down based on multiple factors, because we have a hypervisor that provides these virtual machines. So the solution for that is actually to scale the number of machines and have a system that doesn't depend on the individual machine itself, or rather on a pool of machines, in that case the performance might be much better. For example, Memcached to have a pool of memory and then use that pool of memory to use that with your processes, and that will speed up your application.
Is this in case of very small application with even 20, 30 concurrent users, which is nothing, right?
Yeah, it's very small.
Why?
Well, I'm telling you that other customers are very happy with performances.
Even with Zynga games, I would say if I have a very big friend list, my game stops. I don't know whether it is because of
Might it be that the way you code it is need to be changed? Because other companies are doing the same thing that you are doing and they are happy with the
why
performance.
bandwidth should become an issue?
I don't think that bandwidth is an issue because we have multiple tier 1 bandwidth providers for our data centers. We have multiple tier 1 bandwidth providers for every data center. And if you listen to what customers say, actually the bandwidth is never a problem. There might be a variation in performances for EC2 machines that might happen, especially if you use EBS, the Elastic Block Store, that might affect performances and make them sometimes inconsistent. But that is easily solvable when you have clusters of machines. And basically, even if one machine has slow performances, the other machines can actually compensate for that. And there's also a way to monitor this, because every machine, you can enable CloudWatch. CloudWatch is a monitoring system that allows you to check the status of that machine. And if the machine, for example, has degraded performances, you can actually shut it off and then launch a new machine and use a new machine, which it probably doesn't have that problem. There was a question in the back?
Actually, I have two questions.
Two questions. User in mind?
The first one is basically, I actually tried only the trial version of EC2, so initially. But I have the main question is like, once I have taken the service, still I need to have a one person continuously monitored and need to say, oh, I need to immediately buy a new server or I need to increase my RAM, or there is an auto scaling facility available?
There is, in fact. So we have auto scaling, which in combination with CloudWatch allows you to say, okay, I want this pool of machine, which could be from 1 to 1,000 machines, depending on the amount of machines you want, to be monitored and